Italian Mafia fugitive arrested in Spain after Google Street View sighting. Did you ever hear of Google Street View? I haven't. I'm not up on all this technology, but this is amazing. You know, today it's just unbelievable. You can get caught when you don't even know somebody's watching. Somebody's watching. You don't do anything alone anymore. It's unbelievable. Hey everybody, welcome to another Sit Down with Michael Franzese. Hope everybody is doing well. Do you have your tickets yet for January 29th, the Andiamo Theater in Warren, Michigan, right outside of Detroit? I'm going to be there live. The tickets are going fast. I think VIPs might be sold out already. Come in the back, take a picture, get a book. We talk a little bit. It's going to be a great show. It's a great theater I'm here in. Chaz Palminteri loved that he played his one-man show there. Warren, Michigan, January 29th, andiamoshowroom.com. You don't have to pay the Ticketron price if you go directly to the showroom. Hope to see many of you there. Subscribe. Come on, man. You're helping us build. You're loving the content. We work hard to give you good stuff. Subscribe. Press that button right now. It doesn't cost anything. You get alerts. You know when I'm doing certain things that other people don't know. Very interesting story that I read towards the end of the year, and it kind of hit home. And it's about an Italian mob guy, Cosa Nostra guy in Italy, who was on the lam for 20 years. On the lam, you know what that means. He was in hiding for 20 years, and he finally got caught. Why does that hit home? I know so many guys, you know, in my former life. Ali Boy Persico, Junior's brother, he was a consigliere of our family. He got caught after being on the run for a long time. Whitey Bulger, same thing, was on the road for what, 18 years. I think I walked by him in Santa Monica on the 3rd Street Promenade area there, where I used to go a lot. He used to walk there all the time. You know, I didn't obviously know him, so I didn't recognize him until after I saw his picture after he got caught. And I said, wow, I seen this guy, you know, walking up and down the street. You know, it's amazing today, the technology that they have and how you can get caught. It's unbelievable. And I want to read you this story. It's very interesting, and I'll give you my own little perspective on all of this. But here it is. Here's the headline. Italian Mafia fugitive arrested in Spain after Google Street View sighting. Did you ever hear of Google Street View? I haven't. I'm not up on all this technology, but this is amazing. You know, today it's just unbelievable. You can get caught when you don't even know somebody's watching. Somebody's watching. It's unbelievable. But let me read you this. Convicted murderer Gioacchino Gammino tracked down in Galapagar, where he had lived undetected for 20 years. An Italian mafia boss on the run for 20 years was tracked down to a Spanish town after being spotted on Google Street View. Gioacchino Gammino, a convicted murderer listed among Italy's most wanted gangsters, was arrested in Galapagar, a town near Madrid, where I visited, wonderful city, where over the years he had married, changed his name to Manuel, worked as a chef, and owned a fruit and vegetable shop. So here he is, 20 years on the run. He establishes himself in another country just outside of Madrid. He changes his name, he gets married, he works as a chef. Italians, we like to eat, we're chefs, we do all that. Even mob guys love to, you know, to cook and eat. And then he opens up a fruit and vegetable store, right? And he's doing this for 20 years, undetected. Amazing. You think you got it beat at that point, right? Sicilian police carried out several investigations in their search for Gammino, who was 61, and a European arrest warrant was issued in 2014. The fugitive was traced to Spain, but it was Google Street View that helped to pinpoint this precise location. Isn't it unbelievable? I don't know, Google, I'll tell you something that happened. I was talking about a certain thing the other day, and I'm not kidding. 5 minutes later, it appeared on my phone. Google. 5 minutes later, I'd never seen this before, and some advertisement about exactly what I was talking about appeared on my phone. Everybody's watching. You don't do anything alone anymore. It's unbelievable. The navigation tool accessible through Google Maps had captured an image of two men chatting outside a fruit and vegetable shop called El Huerto de Manu, or Manu's Garden, in Galapagar. Police believed one of the men closely resembled Gammino. So they're watching this. The police are somehow getting hold of Google Maps. It must be new technology that they use, Google Street View. I guess they're watching all the time. And they're looking through this and they see these two guys talking. They come across a listing for a nearby restaurant called La Cucina de Mano or Manu's Kitchen. One of the two guys resembled Gammino, but his identity was only confirmed when they came across this listing. The shop and the restaurant are now closed, but the police found a photo of Gammino dressed in his chef's garb on a still existing Facebook page for La Cucina de Mano. Social media, man, I'm telling you, it's a wonderful tool at times and it's a curse if you're a criminal at times, especially if you're on the run. So how does he get caught? Google View, and then a restaurant that had closed, he hasn't been there for years, but there was an old posting of it on Facebook. This is amazing. He was recognizable by the scar on the left side of his chin. So they really looked at him closely. The restaurant's menu included a dish called Cena Siciliana, or Sicilian dinner. Gammino was arrested on the 17th of December, but the details surrounding his capture did not come to light until they were reported by a newspaper in Italy. The details were confirmed by the Palermo prosecutor Francesco Lavoie, who led the latest investigation. It's not as if we spend our days wading through Google Maps to find fugitives, he told The Guardian. There were many previous and long investigations which led us to Spain. We were on a good path when Google Maps helped us to confirm our investigations. So it wasn't like, all of a sudden it just appeared. They said they were investigating him for quite some time. But you know what? If they don't see this on Google Maps or Google Street View or whatever it is, he's free. They don't catch him. How do they know? After 20 years in hiding, Gammino thought he had managed to sever all his ties with Sicily. Upon his arrest, he reportedly told the police, "How did you find me? I haven't even called my family for over 10 years." Gammino belonged to a mafia clan in Agrigento, Sicily, which was caught up in a bloody feud with Cosa Nostra, Sicily's main mafia network, in the 1990s. He was first arrested in 1984 when he was investigated by the anti-mafia judge Giovanni Falcone, who was later assassinated by the mafia in a car bomb in 1992. I got to say, this was one of the major differences between the mafia in Italy and Cosa Nostra here in the United States. We didn't kill judges. We didn't kill police. As a matter of fact, the only time during my day that I ever know of a hit being put out on anybody was, number one, Rudy Giuliani. It was talked about. It was never carried out. There was no plot that was ever conceived to assassinate him, but it was talked about because he was killing everybody with the RICO Act. He was putting everybody in jail. That was it. We don't go after police. We don't go after law enforcement anyway. There was another guy, I got to tell you, and I told him this when I did an interview that he was with me on. It was actually on Hannity several years ago. Geraldo Rivera. He did such a hatchet job on mob guys, my father, me, everybody way back when. People hated him. In our life, we hated him. And people were talking about killing him. It never happened. We didn't go through with it. There was just conversation. But that's one of the major differences here in this country. We don't go after law enforcement. We don't go after people's families. We don't do that kind of stuff. Our violence is with one another. And, you've heard this a lot of times. We kill each other. That's it. Nobody else. Another major difference, and I know people are going to give me feedback and blow back on this because I've gotten it all the time. We were not major drug dealers. In Italy, yes, they were heroin dealers. It's the truth. We were not major drug dealers here in the United States. As a matter of fact, during my era, I told you this, if we dealt with drugs, we got killed. John Gotti. Why was Paul Castellano mad at him? Because allegedly his crew was dealing drugs. We weren't supposed to do it. It was hands off. Were guys doing it at that time? Yes, but on the side, sneaking. They weren't supposed to do it. They got in trouble if it was found out. Trust me on this. Why would I make it up? That's a fact. I was told this the night I got made. You deal with drugs, you die. And that was it. And I know guys that got killed. I told you the story about Tony DeGork. Blew his brains out in a telephone booth because he didn't want to get caught. He was going to get arrested, and he thought he was going to get killed. We couldn't do it. Two major differences with the Mafia in Italy and Cosa Nostra here in the United States. Let me read on. Gammino was wanted for murder and various other Mafia-related crimes. He was arrested for a second time in Barcelona in 1998. He had been serving a life sentence at Rebibbia prison in Rome. And listen to this. When in 2002, he managed to escape during the commotion of the making of a film at the prison. Imagine that. They're making a film at the prison. They got people walking in and out. Who knows what the commotion was about. He manages to slip out the door with the camera crew, the film crew. Unbelievable. You know, I know another guy that was a friend of mine. Actually, he was on the Giuliani case, and he was convicted. I was acquitted in that case, but he gets sentenced to 30 years. He was in jail, awaiting to be designated to go to prison, and one day he's there, and they call him. His name was Mel Cooper. They call him, and they release him. You know, he's convicted. He got sentenced to 30 years. They designate him to a prison. They call him at the jail. By mistake, they release him. And now he left. He was on the run for quite some time. He was a fugitive. Another mistake, Henry Hill. He was on separation when he was in the witness protection program. They put him in jail in Terminal Island with a lot of mob guys. There was a hit out on him. The prisons, they make mistakes sometimes. You know, you read about it. They release people they shouldn't release. And this one, it was funny. They're filming a movie. He manages to walk out with the camera crew. Unbelievable. It's not the first time that a mafia fugitive had been caught with the help of the web. You know, this is not the first time. I got to tell you, today, you got to be out of your mind. I think you know there was a Gammino guy, I'm not going to mention his name, that got killed about a year or two ago, right in the middle of his street, outside of his house. Boom. And they captured the guy because they had cameras all over the street. Today, it's very tough to get away with things. Very, very tough. Used to be when you were on the lam, listen to, I mean, he was gone for 20 years, so he had a good run. You know, it was funny, when Whitey Bulger got caught, I think it was on Geraldo Rivera. Yeah, it was on Geraldo's show. He wanted to interview me about it. And there was an FBI agent on there, too. And he was a young guy, a young agent, and he was talking about how the FBI always gets their man, and, you know, we'll track you down, and so on and so forth. And he was going on and on. Geraldo said to me, Michael, what do you think about that? You know, what the FBI agent had to say. And I said, look, I said, the guy was on the run for 18 years. I said, I don't think the FBI did that great a job in tracking him down. As a matter of fact, they found him by accident. His girlfriend, who was in a beauty parlor or something, a beauty salon, said something that somebody picked up on, or they followed her or whatever. So they found him by accident, but they did find him, whatever it is, which means that they're always watching somehow, some way. You're going to get caught. You know, you just don't get away with these things. And here's a guy, like I said, you know, on the run for 20 years, finally he gets caught. So what does it mean, people? Crime doesn't pay. Eventually you're going down. Eventually you're going down. You got to do the right thing in your life, stay on the right path, straighten your life out. If you're thinking of getting involved in crime, don't do it. And now I'm going to contradict myself. If you're in New York or you're in California, San Francisco or Los Angeles, you can go in and rob a store in New York. You can commit an armed robbery and be let out the next day and be prosecuted as a misdemeanor. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. It's like the world is going upside down. You know the funny thing? Some of these very progressive DAs that want to be soft on crime, I don't know what they're thinking. They obviously have no experience with the criminal mind, the criminal element, because if they think that criminals are going to say, oh, this prosecutor is being so nice to me, I don't want to commit crimes anymore, I want to do the right thing. Is that what they think, that criminals think, when there are no severe penalties or consequences for their criminal activity? If they do, there's something wrong with them. I can tell you this, when I was on the street, if I would have found out that they limited the RICO Act or that they were breaking, you know, felonies down to misdemeanors for certain crimes that we were involved in, do you think I would have said, oh, great, you know, since they're being so nice to us, we're not going to commit those crimes anymore? Heck no. You know, if the consequences were less severe, I was going to go for it even more. And so is every one of my associates. And so is everyone in prison that I ever met or had any conversation with. It's crazy to think that when you're soft on crime, that criminals, okay, are going to repay you with kindness and say, we're not going to commit crimes anymore. It's crazy. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't get it. The streets are not safer. And you know what? That's what law enforcement's job is, to make the streets safer for all of its citizens. So I don't get it. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, we'll get into this at another time because this is going to continue. I'll have more to say about it as time goes on. Anyway, so hope you enjoyed that story. There'll be more to come. How do I always leave you? Same way. Be safe. Be healthy. God bless all of you. And yep, I will see you next time. Take care.